let's
So
preview and pick the
I can.
big games this week. All right. So
Okay.
let's start off with Pitt versus Notre Dame at Pitt with College Game Day there. Who you got? Give us an analysis of that game, and then give us an
Oh,
analysis of the game, and then give us who you think's going to win.
sure. So with this game, this is going to be a very fun game between two strong offenses. And I know you talked about Pat Narduzzi bringing the attitude to defense, but when I watch this Pitt team, this is a fun run and gun offensive team this year, which is unlike Pat Narduzzi. But that's what this Pitt team has been this year. Like I said, they've gotten rejuvenated after their starting quarterback went out, and they bring an electric freshman in. Notre Dame, they've definitely improved on throughout the season. You know, we saw them go down the first 2 weeks of the season, but now I bet most people would have Notre Dame favored over Miami if they replayed. You know, they finally figured out how to run the ball a little bit more. You know, not figured out. They just had to get Jeremiah Love those touches, being the talent that he is. Um, you know, if Notre Dame loses here, they're 100% out of the playoff race. And Pitt, they need to win to keep themselves alive for this ACC race. Um, with that being said, give me Notre Dame.
Notre Dame. Okay, there you heard it from our analysts. And I'm sure the other analysts who would normally be here would agree with you 100% in Notre Dame. And I'm going to be the contrarian. Um, I'm going to go with Pat Narduzzi's defense to win in that pit environment. I mean, that's like there's an old term called bandbox. I mean, they're right down on you. I can see Pitt winning this game. Let's talk about USC Iowa because that's a big game, more so for USC than Iowa. Iowa lost last week on a last-second field goal by Oregon, and they only dropped one spot. So obviously the committee really likes them. Um, and there's a potential for them to, if they win this game, be the three-loss team to make it. So what do you see on the USC Iowa game?
Sure. So, once again, we got with this game, unlike the Pitt and Notre Dame game, we got a complete mismatch of styles. We have the offensively explosive USC and the dominant defensive Iowa. Uh, with Iowa though, their offense is a little bit better than it has been in years. This isn't, your 2023, 2024 Iowa team. Their offense is at least average now. So, for Iowa to win this game, they're going to need a couple big plays in maybe the special team, the defensive category of the game. I thought Iowa looked really good against Oregon, but, with USC, they're vying. They're trying to keep their hopes alive. Iowa, after that loss last week, I feel like they probably feel like their season's done, and it's tough to go across the country all the way from Iowa to Southern California and get up and play a game. We've seen these Big Ten teams struggle when they have to go across the country. So give me USC.
I agree with you, but not for the reasons. But I agree with you, USC. All right, there's a big one in the SEC. There's two big ones in the SEC. Let's talk about the first one. Oklahoma, the Sooners travel to Tuscaloosa to play the Crimson Tide, Alabama. Who you got, Oklahoma or Alabama? Give
Sure.
us an
So
analysis and then tell us who you think is going to win.
sure. Oklahoma, led under Brett Venables, has had a great defense this year. Uh, you know, at the beginning of the season, the John Mateer Heisman hype was huge, but I feel like this calmed down ever since his injury. He hasn't really looked terrible against the injury, but he hasn't been back to form. It's going to be tough for Alabama to move the ball on this Oklahoma defense. However, I feel like there's not much Oklahoma can do offensively. Bama's defense is still too talented, and I've got Alabama in that game.
Okay. I'm going to agree with you, but I am going to say this. You're a quarterback and you break your hand. it's tough to come back. And he came back early, right? Now had a layoff week, and now they'll be ready to go. The hand is probably fully healed by now, but I think Alabama is like, you know what, we got a legitimate chance to be a top four team in the playoffs. We're not going to let this opportunity pass us by. Plus, this is part of that revenge tour from last year. I think that Bama wins, but I think it's a much closer to game than you and anybody else are saying. All right, here goes one that's sneaky, sneaky good and pretty hard to pick, and that's Texas versus Georgia. So I want to get your thoughts on that and who you think's going to win.
Sure. So this is going to be definitely a fun game. I'll definitely be tuned in watching this one. Uh, so Texas, we've seen kind of a resurgence from Arch Manning. It's almost like he all of a sudden recognized the talent that he has, and Texas offense has been really fun to watch recently. They go early in the season, lose to Florida, lose to Ohio State, both great defenses. But this Georgia defense is not at the level of that Ohio State defense. It's not at the level, probably even of the Florida defense, especially from earlier in the season. So, you know what? This is going to be my upset pick of this week. I think Arch Manning goes around, slings the ball, and you're talking about revenge tour from last year. Texas lost to Georgia twice last year. So, big revenge factor. Georgia's already lost a home game this year. Uh, I think Texas will probably go out and lose to Texas A&M next week. But for this week, my upset pick of the week, I'll take Texas over Georgia.
You know what? I agree with you. I was surprised that a Kirby Smart defense, um, they're like 13th in the SEC overall as a defense. I was really surprised. And you're right. It seems like Arch Manning has figured out, hey, I'm a Manning. I'm good. I should start playing good. So last couple of weeks we've seen it. Um, and I agree with you. I'm going with Texas. So there you have it, fans. This week we as a group, the analysts chose Notre Dame, Pitt to lose to Notre Dame. There was some dissension there, but the analyst always has final say. Uh, the analyst chose USC over Iowa. Our analyst chose Bama over Oklahoma, and the coup de grace would be Texas over Georgia. And we publish starting this week, both Thursday at 10 a.m., and then we'll have our secondary show with our picks on Saturday mornings to be released by 8 a.m., just in time for game day to see how we stack up against people who get paid the really big bucks to do this.
Okay.
So,
Let me
Anwar,
let me give two shutouts real quick. First of all, so as Dan cannot be here with us today, he asked me to announce his picks for this week. So he had Notre Dame, Iowa, Texas, and Bama for his picks. So first, Dad can't be here with this today. That's unfortunate, but those are his picks. Second of all, I want to shout out our Instagram account. That would be @ talking college football _ currently right now there aren't any posts up there, but right now this week really get working on getting these posts up there, and I'll be on all week on this Instagram page getting it going, so give us a follow on Instagram as well.